Hi guys, we'll be making chinchin today in very simple steps, something that you don't even need to have all the ingredients in the world. So this is all I used for this chinchin. I use flour, I use salt, I use baking powder, I use milk, I use sugar, I use nutmeg, I use margarine, and I use eggs. So this is my flour. You can see how it looks. That's why I always advise to sieve your flour. Why would you even use your flour without sieving it? Anyway, so while I'm sieving my flour, I'll just run you through the ingredients I used. So for the flour, I used 12 cups of flour, but I used derica instead of cups. So that's like 6 derica of flour, because of course 1 derica is 2 cups. So I used 6 derica. Yeah. Then for the salt, I used 2 tablespoons of salt. I used 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I used 1 cup of milk. I used 2 cups of sugar. I used 2 tablespoons of nutmeg. I used 1 pack of margarine, but that was because I only had 1. Do you understand? I didn't have 2 packs. Ordinarily, I should have used 2 or at least 1.5, but I used 1 pack. So while you are doing yours, you can just use 2 packs or 1.5. Then for eggs, I used 4 cups, 4 eggs actually, sorry. So I used 4 eggs. So here, this is me just sieving my flour. So I always advise you sieve your flour, because you don't know, like when you don't know the product, you don't know how it was packaged, you don't know anything. So avoid just using your flour directly. It's good to sieve. Even if at the end of the day you sieve and there's nothing, there's no dirt, there's no anything, fine, all well and good. If you find dirt, all well and good. It's better than you now risking it, and it doesn't take anything to sieve. Some people are actually lazy when it comes to sieving. Like, how would you buy yam flour and you would not sieve because you feel that it's yam flour now, there's nothing, what can go wrong? Me, I sieve anything. I sieve anything that needs I don't sieve everything. I don't sieve semo, but at least it's good to sieve. So look at, it's not like it's dirty, it's just the lumpy part of the flour that remain. Anyway, but it's good to be safe, rather than being sorry. So this is the flour after sieving it. You can see how smooth it looks. So even it helps you take out all the lumpy parts here. So after that, now I'm adding my 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm adding my 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Yes, and then the next thing I'm adding is my 1/2 cup of milk. This cup is actually 1 cup of milk, so I had to reduce it into 2. Then that's my 2 cups of sugar. I'm using 1/2 cup of milk because I'll use the other half, mix in water, and you'll see as we go. And this is my nutmeg. I've added it. Then I'll now mix. So just mix. This one is just mixing, nothing much, and let everything combine properly before I now add my margarine, because margarine will now start making everything come together. And that's why I said if I had more, I would have used like 2 margarine, because you would see how I really struggled with managing this margarine. So this is me putting all the margarine has been in the fridge for a while, so it was a bit solid. Will I use that word solid? Yes. So I had time, breaking the lumps and every other thing. You can see that it was really hard. You can see the margarine in the flour. It's not smooth and silky like margarine would naturally be. Do you understand? So, well, I would advise you don't put yours in the refrigerator while you are doing before you do yours. And these are the eggs, the 4 eggs that I added to the flour, and then mix. So this is where you start the work. You start the work little by little, mixing, because I do not have a mixer. If you have a mixer, everything will be easy. You understand? So I would advise you get a mixer. But if you don't have, like I said, this chinchin is something that you can do without even having all the equipment in the world. With just your normal, regular equipment. You can see, just in my bowl that I would normally use, my sieve, and then most of all these things, I have them in my fridge before, so I just decided to pull them out. Do you understand? And just say, okay, I want to make chinchin. So you mix until it's like crumbs, like bread crumbs. You mix. Then you now put water in that milk. That's the remaining half cup of milk, and then you pour it in to the mixture, and then you start mixing. You see that from looking like breadcrumbs is now looking somehow like batter. So yes, you just keep mixing. So this is where the work is now starting gradually, because I had to be using energy to mix. As easy as this thing looks, not to scare you, she have a mixer. 100% use it. So the water was not, everything was not combining well. Shows that there was still some part that were like the crumbs. Do you understand? I was not really smooth. So I had to add water into the milk container and then mix. So this is what I had after mixing for a while. And then this is the final outcome. So once you have something like this, you are not there yet. So you mix and then get this. So this is me using my dining. I had to like really clean it. Just get like a flat surface and clean very well, and then spray your flour, that's sieved flour, on it. Do you understand? And then you just divide that divide the, what will I call it? Divide what you mixture into like 4, depending on the size, like 4 or 5, and then you pick one and then you start. So I didn't have a rolling pin. That's why I said this one you do it at home. Anything you can find. If you have a bottle, maybe an alcohol bottle or granite bottle or anything you can use. Because I don't have bottles. I don't keep bottles at home. Once I'm done with the content, I dispose. And coincidentally, I didn't have any granules at that time. I would have used the bottle with the granite like that. So for a while now, I've been buying plastic granules because of my children. So whenever I take something that is in a bottle, I dispose immediately because of those children. Again, because, so now I'm just, cutting them into desired shape and size, depending on the way you want your chinchin to look like. Me, I want mine to be like those small, when you cut them into like 4-corner kind of chinchin, not the long strips. Do you understand? If you want the long strips, to just play with it the way you want. So this is what I wanted, and that was what I did. So after cutting, just put your oil on fire. Make sure it is very hot. Test with just one. Then once you see that the hot is hot enough, then you pour. And make sure you are frying on a low heat. And that's all. You have your chinchin. I actually forgot to, I actually forgot to video the end product. But chinchin tone are very, very rich. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.